Hi, my name is Cher. Welcome to Lathe and Loom. Hi everyone. Thanks for stopping by the channel. Just have a quick update today on a couple projects. I wanted to share just a little bit of my acquisitions from the Southeastern Animal Fiber Fair that was in Fletcher, North Carolina this past weekend. So yeah, we'll get started. Hope you're all doing well. Grab a beverage and a project, and it'll be a fairly quick one. The first pattern that I wanted to talk about is I mentioned it on an earlier podcast. I have this, for a knitter, embarrassing little secret, and I have this really lovely, and I just noticed unpolished, silver teapot that we picked up in Ireland that I absolutely love, use every morning. But I have been using this, I think it's Williamson Sonoma pot holder as its cozy. I've been, we just sort of pop it over thusly, and it sits on the counter, it covers it up, keeps it nice and warm, but you know, not particularly aesthetic. So I've been wanting to do a tea cozy, and I looked around at some patterns, and a little bit inspired by my friend June's knitting up the checkered slippers. I looked for, and also a little bit from what tea cozies I was seeing on Call the Midwife, and I mentioned this back in the original episode that I talked about this on. So finally last week I'm like, this is enough, like I gotta knit my way out of this one. So I got out some yarn. I had some, and actually I had started this pattern, and when June was working on her slippers, I realized my patterning, which was similar, looked nothing like that. And I had tried to convert the pattern to knit in the round, and it's a garter stitch pattern. So just knitting it does not give the same effect. Anyway, so I had ripped it out. That was last Tuesday, so not quite a week later, and I really only worked on it probably 3 days because we were doing some traveling. I did not take it with me, but it was pretty addictive once I got started. And so I've used some, this is coming across really bright. It's not that bright red. It's a much more subdued, maybe more like that. We'll see how it shows up in the tea cozy. Anyway, this is Cascade 220, and then I had some hand dyed fiber. Again, this is looking like hot pink. It's definitely oranges and kind of ochre. And there's some bright pops in there, but not as bright as that is showing. Anyway, got that, cast the pattern back on, and ta-da! Again, in person, the lighting must be really off, is much more subdued, and I'll get some still photos too, but anyway, doesn't matter. I'm happy with how it knit up in the pattern. So this is a pattern, I used a pattern because my teapot shape is a little unusual with the flat top, so I looked for a pattern for that, and found that with Frankie's Knitting Stuff Old-Fashioned Tea Cozy, which is available on Ravelry. It's a free pattern, or you can make a donation to the UK Liver Foundation. And it was really good direction. So I went back to, there's this garter stitch, so it was easier to do it flat into 2 sections. So I knit 2 sections about like that. I did 6 sections of 9 rows each as I changed my colors. Then you do a decrease around here, and then you do some switch to a smaller needle and do that, and then you join. And so you are popping it kind of on and off your teapot, trying to get the right place. So I did the handle side first. And so and I really debated whether I wanted to put the handle and spout, but I went ahead and did that. And then my spout's just really tiny, so I kind of had to fold back these to, we'll see how that pours. But I mean, I think it's a pretty good when it's sitting. Again, I'll put a still photo in, but yeah. So now we'll see. I'll be curious to see if it keeps it as warm. And it's quite thick fabric. I'll show you the, so underneath on the back side, you're carrying your float. So it was interesting to kind of, I've never done this pattern, but obviously as you're pulling your, the color behind, you're getting these, what do you call that? Channels, fins. Anyway, this nice pop out look. And yeah, I think it came out nice. Got a little yarn out of stash, so that was good. This is all I had left. I thought I had plenty, but I was a little worried. I did go up and find, I had a similar ball that I did in the same little dye experiment weekend. This was years ago, about probably like in 2020, that just in case, but I had enough to do that. So I am happy with how that turned out. I did find that it was easiest to have it in my float tote. So this is a pattern by Nitty Natty, and so you have these nice balls or little cups that the yarn can go in, so that as you're swapping your colors, you can move it around. So I did actually go in and do that, and I found that was really useful. So that is the Old-Fashioned Tea Cozy by Frankie's Knitting Stuff. So the next project I wanted to give you a quick update on is my Sanduskarn double slipper gift knits. So I talked about this last week. If you missed the podcast, 2 years ago, I had bought a good lot of Briggs and Little heritage yarn to knit the family the Sanduskarn felted double slippers. I think Sanduskarn Doble tøfler. Probably butchering that, but there's a few videos with them. So I have a video back there that, or back in that episode, where I kind of, it was more of a project vlog and how I walked through those slippers. Well, that's the only pair I ever did. So I have all this yarn, and I thought, you know what? I was very inspired by Alina of the Norwegian Knitter podcast. And she is knitting like 50 pair, and I think I have 5 to do, so I thought she can do 50 pair, maybe I can do 5. So I cast on the first one. I did get the first one done. If you're not familiar with this pattern, the traditional pattern, you're just cast on and work in the round. You work this first section here up, and then you put half your stitches on hold, work one foot, pick up the other, and work the other foot. I elected to do a Turkish cast on so that I don't have to come back and seam this. And on this first one, and I talk about this in my project vlog video, I had tried doing sort of a provisional cast on. This time I tried picking up stitches. I didn't love that. And so on this one, I actually just left it where you just cast on. And then I went in and sort of grafted these two. I don't like this either. I kind of wonder if, I think the provisional cast on is probably the way to go. I do wonder if you could maybe just, since you're going to felt this, I wonder how it would do, and I might do a little test swatch, if you just took the 2 cast on edges and did like a single crochet edge, which would hold it down nicely. I wonder how that would felt. So that's, I don't know, I'm still playing with that. I have decided that the best way for me to work these is to do this larger part, magic loop, which is not my preferred knitting. And then I have gone back and forth between DPNs and small circular. This is knit on a US 9 5.5 millimeter. So I'm finding I like to do this next section on my magic loop and then switch to DPNs for the decrease on the end of the toe, and that aids the speed of that as it gets smaller. So the way these work, you knit your little pair of pants, and then I've left this here to know this is my inside foot because I actually knit this, even though it doesn't, I'm not sure if it looks like it, 2 rounds shorter. That's also not in the pattern, but something that, and I talked last week and in my original vlog about several references of other folks you can look at, as well as my blog from earlier. And then you're going to stuff one foot basically into the other. And I try to remember if I did that before or after felting. I feel like I've seen it, you felting it and then stuffing it, and then 2 pearls in a pod. She actually stuffs hers and tacks the toe and the heel so that it stays a little more fitted. So anyway, I'm planning to like knit them all up and hopefully felt them all together, but it might be good to do a test run, I guess, to see which one's better. But so you stuff it all in here. it's a little awkward, and then once you get it, so you can see where taking that one end and putting it back through could be a little bit helpful. I'm kind of like turning myself around here. Anyway, you get the idea. You stuff it in there. You have the heel part back, or the foot back here. I've definitely got it all. There it is. I had it all bound up on itself. And push that, yeah. So I also don't love how pointy this is. So I actually am thinking with that Turkish cast on, I could cast on maybe 6 stitches less and then do a gradual decrease or a gradual increase on those first rounds to make that a little bit rounded, because that is the bottom of the heel. So I think that would be nicer to have that a little rounded like that perhaps. But anyway, yeah. So I'm super close then to, today I should get the first pair finished, and then I have the yarn for the next pair ready to go. And if I could just knock out like one a week, I should be able to finish it in plenty of time. And that does take away some of my other knitting time, especially as a number of things that I have cast on, but not so much that, I won't keep working on the other things. And it's just kind of a nice, I just want to sit down and knit a little bit to do. So if you have any interest in knitting some gift slippers, I would be glad to run a little kind of informal knit along to do some encouragement. Drop a comment below or reach out to me on Instagram, and I'll be glad to set up either, I do have a Discord channel or an Instagram chat. Let me know your preference on either of those. So that is the Sandus Garn Felted Double Slippers. And then last is just a quick, you may have seen my short video. We did head out to the Southeastern Animal Fiber Fair this past week, and let's see, here we go. Here's the, also known as SAFF. It's in Fletcher, North Carolina, up near Asheville. It's a really nice size event. Just real quickly, there's 2 main exhibition places where the vendors are. So there's the layout for one, just to give you a little size idea. And then here's the layout for the little smaller venue and all the classrooms. There's a lot of classes, which I've not really explored all that much, but so I kind of hinted on one of the last couple of episodes that there's some changes coming to the channel and our career and so forth. So we are going to be relocating to Midlands, South Carolina. And we have purchased property. We will be starting a sheep farm and woolen mill. So, ta-da, there's my confession. Earlier this year, just events in my, had a corporate executive job. We had a senior leadership change, and they elected to let go the executive teams, and it just kind of gave us a chance to say, hey, like, what's next? And this has kind of been something I've been wanting to do, and kind of seemed like this no time like the present. It just sort of fell into place, and we found the property, and so kind of we're going through that process. So slowly I will be rebranding the channel. I have rebranded my the Facebook page to the farm, Linden Hill Farm, and if you want to follow me over there as well. And then slowly we'll be getting this round, and we're not quite to the point where I'm able to start blogging on the construction and other things, but some more to come on that. But that is why we were there. I was actually there to buy fleece, so I will share maybe some of that. I have a entire upstairs bathroom now that is completely fleece stored. It smells like a lovely sheep barn. So I've been accumulating that for the mill training days that will be coming up. So yeah, lots of big changes in progress. But anyway, I wanted to share just a couple of things that I picked up. I won't go in depth, and if you're not here for the acquisitions, I understand that. Skip ahead and we'll see you next week. But just what, a couple really just to kind of, again, I'd like to share some of the makers and so forth. So first I picked up this lovely bump of fiber. This is 80% cormo, 20% bamboo, and that's pretty representative. This is from Hillside Farms. You've heard me talk about them before. They're relatively local. It's where I do have my knit group, or not my knit group, or I go to a knit group. And as you know, I've been really fascinated by bamboo fiber. I think in South Carolina and the Southeast region, having some ways to lighten up our wool I'm just really quite fascinated with. It's something I definitely want to experiment with in the mill. So I wanted to check out Carolyn's this is one of her newest blends and colorways, and yeah, it's I understand it just spins up like a dream, so had to bring just a bump home for research purposes. So I have that. I was very excited. This is going to crinkle a little bit. I probably should have taken them out, but I purchased two mini skeins from Ashley of Paper Crane Yarns. Ashley does a really nice channel and blog as well. So this one these are sock set base 520 gram minis, and the first one, and she is located in Calera, Alabama. So another South. I'm just really kind of passionate about finding the fiber community in the Southeast. I mean, all fiber community is great, but you don't hear as much about all of us in the Southeast, so that's something I'm definitely interested in with the mill and where the direction for the channel. So this is her French macaroons collection. Let's see, how do I get, there you go. And this one is, I don't see the colorway name on this one. But in it has wood-fired clay, mariner's tail, Ara, which is a custom colorway, caramel latte, and dried poppy. So I just absolutely love. I wanted to buy a sweater quantity. Can't seem to get that one. I just taken them out. You'll see them as I knit. And I bought these actually to go in my Battenberg blanket. I'm getting low on those minis, and that's something I want to figure out how to kind of get done through this next year and get finished. So I have spurts where I work on it quite a lot, and others where I don't. But anyway, I really would like to buy a sweater's quantity of Ashley's DK, and she does some non-superwash as well. She has beautiful colors. So if you haven't checked her out, I will put the information in the show notes. The show notes for this episode may be delayed because I've got a brief trip I need to do. So I wanted to get the video up, but that may, so anyway, if there's something that I haven't put in, feel free to email me or drop me a line on Instagram, or leave it in the comments, and I'll get that information to you. I'll probably be a little bit more brief than I usually am. Typically my show notes are very detailed. If you're new to the channel, don't take this as representative. I'm being a little bit quick today. Yeah, so that was fun. So anyway, you go to the Fiber Festival and you have ideas, but then you're like, and the pressure, and I couldn't decide. And so I thought, you know what, it's great. I'll get some minis, and because it had several of the colorways that I've been looking at, and that'll get me a little bit of a chance to play with it, and then I can go back later and get my sweaters quantity there. The other yarns I got, this was a total boondoggle, totally did not need this at all, but just, I always interested in, other particularly farms. We had a lot of really great conversations with folks. Even got somebody calling, looking to see if I would process. I'm like, oh, I'm not quite there, but can I talk to you next year? But Stewardship Homestead, and she raises Angora rabbits. So I got this merino silk Angora, and this is fascinating. Her yarn is hand spun. She has a woman who hand spins for her. So it's just lovely. So this is the blend: 60% merino, 25% mulberry silk, and 15% Angora. I really just thought it was quite reasonably priced, and I like to support, particularly farm yarns. This one's merino Angora, 85% merino, 15% Angora, also hand spun. And then last I got 100% Angora, hand spun and undyed. So that just got a little bit here. And I'm thinking, I'm quite fascinated with the boho tradition of knitting, and have, in mind to do that beautiful blue yoke sweater one day. But I thought it might be nice for me to pick, I think there are some hat patterns in that book, and I will, when I get ready to do that, I will share all of that on the channel. But I thought maybe I could use this and possibly do a little bit of dyeing on this to give myself an accent color, and do one of the motifs from that book. So that was kind of my thought there, and wanted to support that maker. And when I was there 2 years ago, I picked up a set of circular needles from Brickhouse Fiber Arts, and they do this six-sided local production. They are all done in the U.S. And so I wanted to get, and I got the size 6, and so I actually got the double points. I've been doing more stuff with double points. I got the double point needles to correspond to that. So I don't know if that will come across. If you can see, I mean, they're like a pencil shape, right? I don't know if that's coming across or not. But it's supposed to be a little more ergonomic, but I'd love to get a whole set. I like these, and I really like the carbons, which is, I think, a Knitter's Pride line. And then the last kind of fibery thing, I did go to Dusty's Vintage Buttons, and I picked up this set here. I forget what she called this. There was a name for the material of these. And this. And one or the other, probably this one will be for the Nordic Bloom vest pattern, which is a Caitlin Hunter pattern. Hope I'm getting that correct. In the Nordic edition of Lina magazine. I'm going to use my walnut die, so I thought this would look really nice with it. It's supposed to be 3 buttons. I wasn't sure if I would want more than 3. That's why I got the couple, and they're larger. So, so yeah, I thought it'd be nice to get a couple of, these were 12 and these were 10. Just so hard to find buttons, right? So those are just a couple of my treasures, and thought I would share. So appreciate you spending a little time with me today. Would love to hear from you in the comments, what you're working on, where you're watching from, any questions that you might have. I'll have a lot of discussion coming up on how I rebrand the channel name and stuff like that. So we'll love to get some community interest and thoughts around that as we go forward, and then we'll do some blogging as we start really kind of full blow through the construction and so forth. So lots more to come on that. I hope that will be fun and interesting for you all as well, and look forward to talking with you about that. So have a great day. Happy knitting, spinning, dyeing, and weaving. Bye, y'all.